Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're well. Welcome back and welcome to quarter 4. That's right, we're here at the end. Alliance War Season 59. Today we're taking on MSKTT, the Masked Titans. We're on a 4-war slide. If you've been keeping up, we've gone thus far from being just around 6th in the world to trying to hold on to Masters. And this is a tight one here. We're taking on, brought in this little Luke versus Sassy. This is just because, you know, I got me some love for Luke. We're here on We're here on Hazard Shift and just gonna work up building some power, minimizing hits. Of course, I got to get a rupture on that last one just so he gets the Fury, but this is a classic Luke versus Sassy. Once we get our special 2 off here, we're gonna put a couple concussions up. That's gonna reduce his ability accuracy by 150%, meaning I'm no longer gonna have to worry about getting any ruptures on me when I hit him. And this is how Luke shuts down Hazard Shift. He does a lot of stuff, and he's pretty underrated in the current state of the game. But if you know, you know. I got some people in my ally who know, so it's a nice little fight. And not a ton of risk. I mean, even if I eat a special 3, he's only losing half his power because of the node. Not a big deal. Got the exhaustions up, so he'll never get any of his stacks of wrath. And we're big chillin'. Big chillin'. Luke Smooth. Let's go. Alright, we're gonna skip over that Mantis because you've seen me Deathless Thanos that fight before. And he does Deathless Thanos things, but this is here because it's Luma. He's been a pain to everyone. I do have an Odin on, so I will have some shock resistance. He's stun immune here, and so the goal is to avoid the Luma risks. He's got the invisibility, he's got the evade, and as long as I use my counter punch, which I'm trying to work up to here, that's why I start off with that light, I'll be able to counter whatever special he throws. It won't be a big deal. So far so good. We got Furies up, we got counter punch up. Now we're just trying to bait this special. Throws the one, we punish the last hit. That way we get our panic up and we can absolutely hit him. And now we've got our unstoppable back up. And we're just in the cycle. Not too worried in this fight about applying my my armor break, armor shatter. You know, if it comes up, it comes up. But we're big boosted. And you can see here without it up. I mean, I didn't realize he was unblockable there. I took the end of that first special one. But Thanos is such a tank, and with the protection, it didn't even matter. Luma's kit can get you if you don't know what's going to happen to win. It's pretty punishing. Now we've got this Thanos here on node 41. Yep, you see that there. And we're going to Tigra this. Initially, my planner and I were discussing me taking the Medusa to the left there on Mixmaster. And I said, you know, why don't you hood that, Hoodman? I think I'll go ahead and Tigra this Thanos. So we did. How did it go? Well, it's Tigra. How do you think it went? Now, I will say, Tigra does take Deathless Thanos differently, in that you're utilizing primarily your special ones in this kind of fight. And there's a chunk to play around. Right? I see that he's near his stacks there, so if I do a heavy, I can't do it, right? He'd have gone unstoppable. Just kind of waiting out some timers, right? Don't want to throw that into protection, so I bait the heavy. There's a little bit of nuance, but all in all, it's a fun Tigra fight. Heavy and special, completely punishable. Back off. Keep throwing my special 1. Halfway home. Not a ton of risk. The real risk is, you know, he goes unstoppable and you get hit in the face. So, as long as you're playing around that, staying focused, you'll be alright. The root does come into play a couple times, but again, not a big deal. You just play around the root. He's only got half the bubble shield charges up, so it's not like I'm running risk of him going unblockable. I kind of knew this was going to happen. I thought about backing off and throwing the special 2. Probably should have, but I'm just going to wait it out. Throw this here once protection is down. Keep chipping him down. All that extra power gain below 2 bars. Here's where the root came into play. But yeah, we just parry. Not a big deal. Heavy counter. He doesn't want to go down easily, but he does. Almost full yellow bar. Just about there. And now we transition to my last fight of the war. Up until this part of the season, this has probably been my favorite fight so far. So this is an Onslaught on 49. That means that there's the brute force if I don't hit him. I'm only going to get power, combat power from my debuffs that I apply to him. So this is a classic one that's been kind of out of it till Tigra was back as a 7-star, but now she's back. And so we just want a heavy bait, heavy counter. Optimally, we do this 3 times, and then we throw our special 2. And he gets a little finicky though, and so you're gonna see it gets me tight. I'm looking at my power, right? Because I'm gaining power passively from my debuffs. I don't want to get to special 3, and I just get to where I need to be, which is perfect because then we get right into another special 2. And as I'm yapping, that's an Onslaught down. Beautiful, lovely, my lady, my Tigra. But unfortunately, we drop our 5th war in a row. Ugh, the feelings were riding high here. Not feeling so good. We got a bear down. Big shout out to our MVPs, Interceptor and Grass Knuckles, crushing it as usual. But ladies and gentlemen, this put us a couple spots out of Masters. We're sitting, you know, near the top of Platinum 1 right here, but you know, it's basically we now need to win War 11 and 12 to get back to where we want to be. So kicking off War 12 or War 11, we've got this Maw at the beginning of Path 5. Left this in just so you could see the Tigra process. It's a little nuanced, primarily just because you can't flat heavy counter, right? You have to do that light. His spacing, it actually was really consistent in this fight, but it's not as consistent once you fight more Maws. There will be times where actually most of your heavy will whiff, and sometimes you catch him with that light at the end, with that last hit, sorry. So you can see here though, he basically lines everything up perfectly for me, completely cooperates, throws the special 1, and with the Fury and the boosted Tigra, Maw is nuked. Now we're gonna move on to this Nick Fury here, bringing in Jean Grey for Jean stuff. So the thought process in this fight, the risk in this fight is that you get to his 2nd life and you have to bait his heavies where he's gonna be unstoppable. And you know, he's got unblockable threats and stuff like that. So, you know, the goal is we're gonna go in here with Jean, and you see me switching my boosts, which is gonna be a topic of a movie that's coming up, a video I'm putting together for Alliance War, kind of inside my thoughts, how to Alliance War better, how I've improved over time, showing you all the boosts, right? The boosting is a big part of that. So between every fight, if I make cuts and stuff, oftentimes there are boost swaps and things like that going on. You should be aware of that. But the goal here is basically to do just fight Nick Fury things with Jean, and we want to save ourselves some power and a relic going into 2nd life so we can use that for our openings. And so the way I like to play Jean is I like to parry and do 4 lights. My goal when I'm playing Jean is to maximize how many neuro shocks I can get up before I throw that special 1 to convert them passive. So I want to be at least 12. You can see here I kind of got myself into a pickle. I do get my 12, 13, I get those converted, so it puts me at 15. I like to do that way because that means you're just going to be doing that much more damage on your special 2. And so now I go ahead and convert my 2 neuros that I had up, the active ones. Get the knockdown so our special damage isn't gimped. And we're just going to use that to push him into 2nd life. So now he's gotten rid of all the neuros. As you guys might know, Nick Fury goes very passive at the start of his 2nd life. And so I felt comfortable throwing that heavy there. If he double resists, I'd have been okay. You see we got that up. We've only got a couple neuros up, but he throws this special 1. He kind of puts me in a position to end this fight. And we do, with a full yellow bar. I know Jean gets a little bit of a hard rap in some alliances and stuff, but she's a very good champion. Now we got this Thorns Arcade here. This is a Tigra fight, including this because it's a Tigra fight. You know, I love my Tigra. My boosts are already running. I'm in a good spot. And so the plan here is just to heavy counter heavy and nuke him down. There's pretty little risk in a arcade versus Tigra fight as long as he doesn't start throwing wacky specials and just throws the heavy. That combined with, of course, if you can nuke him before he gets to 3 bars of power, which rank 4 Tigra doesn't have a ton of issue with. And speaking of rank 4 Tigra, this is where we like that big SIG, because you can see he was not super cooperative and it got to the edge of my senses, but they lasted just long enough. And he's gonna die on the special too. That's why we love ourselves some Tigra. Skipping over the Maestro because we've done it before. Now we've got another Lumatrix. He's actually gonna be in every one of these wars. This time it's him on 37. I think the logic here being that it's less good for Deathless Thanos, but we've got Zeen and we don't really care. Same ramp process, using my lights. I don't care too much about the regen because I'm going to get so many debuffs up, but I want to be aware of it because when we convert them, it's going to be important. Now he goes ahead and throws this. I wasn't counting on it, but it's not a big deal because we're just going to counter. And I wound up, having more power than I thought. But then I see how much of its health it's his taken, and I just go, okay, I'm good. I wind up baiting that special. I was gonna go for the kill, but he threw it, so not a big deal. We'll be patient, and then we're just gonna drop a fat special 2 with basically nothing on him, and it's still gonna kill him because boosted Zeen is fantastic. See, we had that lurking, painful, am I gonna time out in this thing? It's another thing we'll talk about in that Alliance War video, no doubt about it. Because there are things you can do to mitigate some of that stuff. And, well, I think I had another fight, but I think you've seen it, so here we are. Shout out to our MVPs, Cosmic, Grass. We pull through with a much needed dub, and this win puts us into Masters spot 20, meaning we're going into the final war of the season, as you see it here, against DSVG. They were 19th, we were 20th. This is a legitimate battle for Masters. Whoever wins stays, whoever loses goes. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna show you all the fights. You're gonna see the entire thing, how the flow goes. There's still some of it cut out, of course, but we're starting off with Chee here on node 1. You know, she's got some risk. She's a tricky defender. This doesn't amplify her cleanses too much, other than the sense, you know, it's kind of wants you to parry. But the plan here with Zeen was just to kind of, you know, parry at the beginning, use my shield up. It's not a big deal to take a little bit of damage and to use that to get above the bar. So that way I could just keep pushing her above a bar and try to stay away from her. So thankfully she throws that heavy. That really helped the flow of this fight. I want to keep my space. I don't want her to regen a bunch. And then I just want to do damage. All right, so we throw that first special 1. You know, she's halfway down. We're working our way toward a special 2. And that's as far as she's going to make it here. So, nice Zeen work. She likes class advantage, for sure. Now we're moving on to Skyfaw's rank 4, SIG 200 Adam here on node 10. Of course, the risk of this node being that he's going to get, if I apply a debuff, he'll get a regen because it'll be purified, and then he'll go unblockable, blah, 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 blah. Well, we're not worried about too much of that because we're going to go and we're going to Tigra this, and the plan is just to push him back. You can see we swapped our power backs. We make sure all that took. We're going to plan to push him back, get him into the Tigra cycle, and just nuke it down, right? I know that this may not be the fastest fight, but it's all about being safe. At this point in the time, we've got a little bit of a lead. I'm the last one going. There is no one after me. These are the final 8 fights of the season. And so it's on the shoulders. Got to go get it. Didn't like that prolonged intro. Made me feel a little sketchy. You can see we start off, we get our lights, we get our intercept. He's above a bar. It's perfect. This is exactly how we wanted things to start. He throws off the special 1. We've got him near enough to the wall that we can just start chaining our heavy, but we get resisted. So I throw this special 1 to maintain the flow of the fight, kind of reset the AI. And now we're in the loop. Now we just need him to let us heavy. He dashes in, which is perfect. Gives us more ruptures. He throws the special 1, perfect. More ruptures. And we're gonna drop back, and he's gonna survive half the special 2. Rank 4, 6200. Tigra doesn't care. She says I'm the same, and that's a 34-second fight. 34 seconds. Now we got this Sersi, Skyfall Sersi as well. He was poking at me during this war, letting me know he was training his defenders, but I'm not too worried about this Sersi. There was one I took earlier in the season that actually didn't go very clean. It wasn't messy, it just wasn't smooth. You know, it was like having to throw some special 1s and clunky. But I cut it out because I knew this one was coming. And so I figured I'd just show you what this fight looks like. The previous Sersi fight looked closer to my Deathless Thanos fight. Right, kind of 1s and 2s, and yeah, we worked it out. Today, we just need her to throw this special 1, and this is basically a done fight, which she does. Which means this is basically a done fight. Yeah, 1 hit. 1 hit of the special. And here he is. The Lumatrix. Took this previously with Deathless Thanos. Obviously with where we were today and what needed to be done, we did not have room for Deathless Thanos, and that was okay because I figured, you know what? I did what I did with ZEEN last war. We saw how she handled Luma on 37. I'm friends with some higher tier war players that told me about just ZEENing Luma everywhere, even places I would Deathless Thanos him. And so I'm confident in ZEEN doing this fight. Now, unfortunately, there was no video for this fight, so here's your video for this fight. We boost up, we've got our invul on, we've got our pre-fights on, we've made sure they're all applied, we've got our power backs all switched on. Let's go. And the plan here is similar to what we did versus the Atom. We start off with the lights. We really want to get him pushed past that bar so we can get into the cycle here. Thankfully, he lets us intercept, which is lovely. Now we can bait special 1s because Neuroshock prevents miss. So we can get right into the rotation, get things converted, and you can see things have gone amazingly so far. Now we can counter this special 1. I don't really want him to drop another one because he's going to go unblockable. And so he clips me, but I've got an invul. It's not a big deal. Now the unblockable is still up. I'm trying to kind of wait it out. Let go in. Try to get him to throw this special. It's perfect. We missed that, but since Invis is on cooldown, you can heavy bait, and we're going to chunk that down. And I mean, he dies on the first hit. So, a little bit of a slip, but we avoid most of the Luma threats and we nuke him down. Now we've got this spot on 37. Having taken the Luma there last war, I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's only a rank 3 spot, and I'm very confident in ZEEN to do this fight. I know some people, again, they think she favors class advantage, and she does. But against something like this, I mean, well, you're about to see how it goes. Now, as you've seen, my head is in a good spot, and this is going to tie to that future video about how I view Alliance War and how I approach it. But I'm pretty locked right now. Right? I'm pretty locked. I'm pretty focused. On these first fights, I very clearly knew what I wanted to do. The next fight, I wasn't sure. It was a pure game time decision. I'm still, at this moment in this war, not sure who I'm going to use for the next fight. You'll see why when we get there. But yeah, we're getting to our nuke phase here. And that's what we're gonna do. You can see, man, she just clears the whole health pool. Beautifully done. Felt great. And now we've got this Nick Fury. And I was assigned ZEEN here initially. And then I kind of went to Tigra, and then I went to ZEEN, then I went to Tigra. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I ultimately settled in the moment. Said, you know what? I'm gonna Tigra this Nick Fury. And what that means is we just need to play around Mixmaster. Okay, I figured that it would be easier to mess around in Second Life specifically with Tigra. And I guess you'll see how it goes. How was the call? I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. We medium light, we mix in heavies, we medium light, we mix in heavies. Drop back. He dexes out of the first 2 hits. It was pretty good. Should have thrown a light, but it's okay actually. Because it means he's not unblockable, and it means I can get right back into throwing specials and get him to 2 bars. So it actually worked really well. We get him out of his unblockable. Start getting him back into the heavies and lights and mediums. This, we're about to take him to second life. It's really lining up perfectly because he's going to be at 2 bars of power. And now we just need to finish it out. Keep mixing up the combos, doing our heavy baits when appropriate. We've got power backs on, so I know I'm going to get back to at least 1 bar. And you can see, I know that this is going to kill him now. And that's Mixmaster, rank 4 Sig 200 Nick Fury. With our girl. Let's go. Speaking of our girl, she's going to take the next fight, second to last fight. So at this point in time, we still have a lead. If I solo this fight, we've won the war and we've accomplished Masters. And I took this fight earlier this season. And the reason this is in here is because I'm pretty confident that this is my fastest war fight of the season. You can see he's going to just completely cooperate. He's going to drop that special for me. I'm going to drop back. Instead of trying to throw the other heavy, I just drop back and throw this. Wait for him to come in. He doesn't. We'll be back off. And because of power backs and her mechanics and all that, we still get to our bar of power. We just toss it. And I don't know that it can go better. 26 seconds. 26-second fight. Tigra is amazing. And now we've made it. We have achieved Masters. It feels great. I get to take a deep breath. There was some guidance, some wags moving and stuff in the background, so I've had a moment to relax. I double check myself. I see the score. I can die 3 times here, and we still win. And that feels great. But as you know, if you've been keeping up, I only died once this season, and it was to a rough assignment. I should have saved it, but it was a rough assignment. And so I want this fight. I want this fight. I fought this fight a couple times this season. And I want to take it down. Been learning from my own footage, been learning from Grass, been watching other videos. And, it's kind of a balance. It's kind of a balance of not wanting to rush it and also needing to keep a good pace. And just being smart about her mechanics and timing, especially around the special 2. You can see I go ahead and get clipped there to start. I get to 7, so I go ahead and throw it off. Figure that's not a bad first ramp, right? You can't get too greedy. You gotta take what you can get, keep the fight moving, keep the flow going. It's very important in this fight. So there's a nice little intercept. I'm trying to get some neuros up, trying to get it ramped back up so I can, I want to bait that heavy so I can get my uncannies up, shorten my power bar. Now I just need her to throw this, which she's not cooperating, so I go ahead and just drop my special. I still have a little bit of shield up, so I just need to dex this or take it on the block because I just don't want to get knocked down. That'll put her into elimination mode, slow everything down. She's just non-cooperative. We go ahead and block this one. We try to ramp ourselves back up. Now my goal is to kind of get like 1 more rotation off before she gets into her elimination mode. So then we got to wait out 1 elimination. It's fine. It's not a big deal. You can do this without her going to elimination, but she would need to be very cooperative. There we go. We get our intercept. We want to bait this. So I want to knock her down before she gets to 100. So it's perfect timing. We toss that. And now I don't really want her to throw a special because she's going to go into her mode. So I'm just screwing up and it's bad spacing and she goes into elimination anyway. What a sap, right? So annoyed with myself with how that went down. So now here we are. It's been a solid fight so far and just this garbage. So I go ahead, decide not to try to build up and do stuff. I want to get through elimination mode, knocking her down, doing all that stuff helps out. So I get clipped. And then I get, thankfully, a block in, but here we are. We've been here before. She's in elimination mode. I'm, 3/4 dead. She's halfway dead. And now we gotta start. But it's okay, because we can do this. We've done this before. We've been in worse situations in this fight. I'm looking at it and I'm going, you know what? I've been in worse situations in this fight. Just do what you know you need to do. Lock in and get the solo. We go ahead and cache this here. Just block it. I know I have the shield, so that was what I was counting on there. Doesn't fall for my intercept. It's okay. Throws the heavy. It's nice. We want to get a burst in. I'm going okay. She's halfway to her mode. She's over 20%. We do even one small special 2 cycle. We'll be good. And that's what we're here to do. Low and slow. We're not panicking. We're staying focused. We want the solo. She almost got us once earlier. We had another good fight after that. She tried to get me in this one. Masters is secured, but we're not packing it in. I could have gone straight to special 2 there. I think I wanted to convert things, but you know, it's all about just making sure, right? Certainty. War is about minimizing risk and maximizing certainty as much as you can. I know my relic's coming in. I know what I want to do here. Yep, I want to tick it down, and I want to relic into special 2. And that's what we're going to do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a season. That's the wraps. That is how the Vishanti made it into Masters in season 59. Big shout out to MVPs, Grass, Poke. GG's, gentlemen. Amazing season. Appreciate the planning from everyone. And to that planning, yeah, here's where my season wound up. 64 fights, 1 death. That was to Luma with Prowler earlier this season. It was a solid season. Glad that we could lock it in there at the end, you know, as high as 6th to barely obtaining, but you know what, doesn't matter, we made it. Big shout out to our planners. Appreciate all of you, all the work that goes in. Thank you. And to the rest of my alliance mates, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Good season, good push, well done. Thank you also. And we did have a little bit of extracurriculars this war season. As you can see, I did win the Battle Group MVP for BG1. So thank you very much for that reward and award. I appreciate it. Hopefully I've earned some more trust from the planners and just trying to help and do my part. It was a solid season, and I'm looking forward to doing a repeat. It's tough when you got Finn in the group, you know what I'm saying? And with that, of course, comes the typical strange artwork. Thank you so much, boss man. The beautiful Black Panther Civil War. Beautiful war season, beautiful time. Until next time, peace.